John Mary Ssebuwufu, the Speaker of Kampala Capital City Authority.
Yes, sir.
Good to have you on NTV.
Thank you.
I'd like to know, Kampala has several challenges.
Yes.
Can you list for me like about top 5 challenges that you feel they are the most critical that need to be addressed?
Yeah, first of all, the mindset of the residents of this city, because I remember we were in Kigali a few months ago, and the mindset of the people in Kigali about cleanliness of the city. Everyone is at par, they are moving on the same page. So I think the mindset here needs to be, we need to manage that matter now that we have a new regime at the whole. It needs to be a priority because the city is supposed to be clean, and clean, which is not the case.
How are you going to change the mindset? Because
no, we are going to have a number of strategies, definitely. There's leadership at the now. We have the road mayor and his cabinet. We have a new council. We have almost a new ED. She has been there for a few years. I think we need to come up with some better strategies and accept some hard facts. When you find somebody drinking water, he just throws something aside and moves on.
So are you going to come
gentleman. So I think we need to have to do something on that.
Are you coming up with bylaws?
Definitely. That are going to be ordinances.
Punitive.
And I think about cleanliness of the city is one of the major challenges. But the most critical challenge for this city, as far as I know, we have a KCCA strategic plan for 2025-2030. And according to our consultants, our experts, we are supposed to, if we implement that strategic plan and to have everything in place the way we have arranged for the next 5 years, we are supposed to get at least 2.4 trillion shillings per year. That's the budget for us to implement that strategic plan
So
year.
Out of that 2.4 trillion,
yes,
what would be the first?
Now, of course, this one goes. You are aware that this is Kampala Capital City Authority. It's no longer like the other KCCA. The other KCCA, which will collect the money,
fine.
Then we could do whatever we want. But now, the money comes from government, central government. Like this next financial year, 2026-2027, I think we have approximately 1.2 trillion shillings. Which they are going to give us as the institution, and that is 50% of what we want. Now that's the main challenge that we have, because everything is there.
But people are saying, you know, the city is continuously becoming dirty. You know, you find where there are markets.
And why not?
The dumping.
No, why not?
Dumping is
about the dumping. That's a different matter, because the bylaws are so on. I think that one we shall do, and we are handling.
How about the roads? Let's look at the roads.
Yes,
what's
the roads.
The plan for the roads?
No, the road is, first of all, there is a lot of construction going on in the city. And this budget has been increased essentially because of the roads infrastructure. You see, this previous year, we have had like a 956 billion shillings. And we had a number of roads, a number of commitments with the contractors. And this little increment is because of the engineering department, that we need to handle those roads, finish those works, and that's why the command has increased a little bit.
Okay, now, recently the CDF said he's going to be in charge of all the money for roads, infrastructure in Kampala. And some people are saying, actually, he has a point.
Which point?
They are wondering,
things
are not moving.
He doesn't have a point. Which point does he have?
So how do you take that statement?
No, first of all, it's wrong. I thought this was a little fair democratic government. We assume it's fairly a democratic government. And in governments, you must follow process and the procedures. You must follow the rule of law. What does the law say? So are you saying that the CDF is going to become the procuring officer of all Uganda? Why KCCA only? So of all local governments, of all cities, of all Uganda, I think that's wrong. Because Kampala is the face of Uganda.
That's
wrong. Why?
But are you ashamed of how Kampala looks? Even you, much as you're just coming into the leadership.
Definitely, that's why I'm telling you, because with me I know what you're supposed to do. For example, I always been telling people that you have a KCCA drainage master plan, for example. It's supposed to be funded, it's $220 US if you are to implement that master plan. And then you make Kampala better, as far as floods are concerned. Now, the money is not there. Why can't the CDF talk to his father, because he's the father, or to the president, for that matter. He's the president, he's the father, he's the CDF. Actually, they have the authority. And I'm aware that according to the Public Finance Management Act, almost this national budget is for the president to guide, to direct, to command. And he's the son of the president, he's the CDF with a lot of authority actually. If you want this country to move, first of all, you should ensure that we follow rules, regulations, and the laws of the country. It is important.
You were talking about the budget. You said it's the CDF, so you didn't complete the point. You said it's
no,
the CDF.
What happens? It doesn't have that mandate.
No.
As simple as that.
We were looking at the issue, said drainage. The major challenge is that they have not given you the money.
Yes.
And you were saying he should talk to his father.
Because why?
So
why am I telling you that?
Point.
First of all, I have told you, KCCA is supposed to be funded. And the resolution, among the resolutions that we have already in the records, we said that we want 3.5% of the national budget as the city authority. Yeah, and the 3.5 is approximately 2.3, 2.4 trillion shillings per year. And then we think the cabinet, headed by the President Yoweri Museveni, should give us the picture of the city they want. In any case, according to the law, the constitution was amended. We are running this city on behalf of government. It's the government that is owning up this budget. Actually, we don't need to meander around. The issue is about the budget and the funding of the institution.
How about the corruption in the institution?
Why corruption? Because when I have been in KCCA, at least, for the last 5 years, we have tried our
corruption.
We have tried our level best. We even called the IGG. Of course, there was some degree of corruption, because you remember we are fighting with the status quo then, where they constructed a kilometer of a road to approximately 10 billion shillings, and you got shocked. But when you put up a fight, because we tried to put up a fight with the former road mayor, and you actually saved approximately 350 billion shillings as the other people, other team which is doing oversight role.
Were the people who are trying to steal that money ever prosecuted?
I cannot call it direct stealing because there are processes and so on, procurement procedures.
So they were
and
trying
so
to steal with
so, but what we did, we recommended the IGG because we are not an investigating agency.
What do you make of your staff or supervisors who are supposed to be supervising the contracts that are ongoing, who tend to connive with the contractors? They mobilize. After mobilizing, they take their time to complete the job under the pretext actually there is no money, and yet sometimes the money is released, but someone at the end of it all is going to benefit in a sense that the moment this equipment is idle and it's not being utilized, you pay them and compensate. So it's a catch they share.
No, first of all, the bureaucratic process that they are, because I remember we had an issue with the Kitezi Road. It took almost 2 years without starting it, because the funders, the East African Development Bank, the what, they have to approve, they have to do that. But now what we are saying is that the executive director and her technical team, we are going to be more hands-on as we have always been. And this is a new council, a new attitude, a new approach.
Now,
I think
with the new attitude, new council.
Yes.
Mukulu Ssebuwufu, I wanted to understand how you are 19 councillors in NUP.
We are 19 councillors.
Then there are 16 NRM councillors.
Then I'm around 13 and 3 independents, but inclined to NRM.
So how do you intend to strike a balance as a speaker?
No, that was very easy. First of all, issues of local government, it's always important to look for consensus, to develop some consensus before you take a decision. And the laws are clear. You debate, this one debates, I mean you make your arguments properly. And we shall fairly and cautiously process those decisions. It's not about numbers really. It's about the substance that you are delivering, you are putting on the floor. Yeah, what do you have on table? We are really about monitoring roads. Why do you oppose that one? What are you about increase the budget? Why do you oppose that one? I think we shall work together very well.
There has been allegations that actually opposition is not really kind of like stifles government's efforts.
It's a baseless, unfounded allegation. Extremely baseless, because I'm seeing, because for us what we do and why they think so, when I come to State Hall, I remove the veil and tell the people of Kampala what is deep inside there in the city. Because the city, we're just stewards. We're just managing the city on behalf of the residents. We have the money for the people, and we are doing this work on behalf of those people. Therefore, we have a duty to know what is happening at the home. And when we talk about it, that's why possibly some people may say this and that. But also another challenge is the unemployment for the urban poor. That one is very, very critical. As KCCA, we have a resolution already in records, in our records, that every constituency of Kampala or a division should have at least 2 modern markets. And a good enough we have a presidential directive on that matter. We are saying, Mr. Museveni, when you give us a directive, you don't just say it, you follow it with the necessary infrastructure that is needed. For example, we want in markets. There is some money that is attached to it. Allocate that money through a Ministry of Finance, the PSST, and then we start the work.
I'm afraid, Mr. Ssebuwufu, we could go on and talk more about the problems of Kampala until the cows come back home, because there are so many. But thank you so much for according us your time.
Thank you.
And wish you well in your term.
Thank you very much. And if we shall do that, and the people of Kampala will be happy. I know in the next 5 years. Thank you.